Hi, you are here today with Daily Wonder teachers and Marnie Elliott, who is a relationship counselor and parent coach with the Nurtured Heart approach. And we're talking with Marnie today because Rebecca and I have had a chance to work with Marnie when we worked at a school together. We brought Marnie in to help us find common language and ways that we could work with parents when it came to supporting children with social and emotional challenges or coming up against challenging behaviors in the classroom. And so now that Rebecca and I are writing content for Daily Wonder, we find that it's just natural for us to be offering tidbits of information along the way that are supporting parents, because we can just see that, you know, this is a challenging job to be guiding your child at home. So we thought, let's talk with Marnie. Let's have a conversation and help our members and help Daily Wonder people who are interested come and find out more about Nurtured Heart approach. So Marnie, if you could just share a little bit about what you do with everyone.
Yes, I would be happy to. And thank you so much for having me. It's always been so fantastic to work with you both and your community. And I am happy to support you all however I can. I am a relationship counselor, and I do work with parents, anybody who works with children really, in bringing the Nurtured Heart approach to help adults navigate this crazy ride that we have all signed up for in being parents or teachers or grandparents or foster parents, adoptive parents, wherever that relationship happens. And I would be honored to have whoever from Daily Wonder would like to join in on some training, get some more information. So we'll have a special offer for them at the end of this interview, as well as a way to get more information for anybody who would like to know more. But very briefly, Nurtured Heart approach was created by Howard Glasser, and it is relationship-based, it is attachment-based, it is very conscious, it is very clear. It is trauma-informed. It is really everything, and it is based on the 3 stands. And the 3 stands are what help us to navigate. So it provides a foundation, it provides the roadmap, it provides just a really intentional and purposeful way for us to shift how we see our children away from seeing the problems and into seeing the opportunities to really teach them about who they really are.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. So it goes without saying that parenting is challenging, and it goes without saying that teaching is challenging. So now you are a parent and a teacher at home homeschooling, and we know that, you know, as parents, we get triggered by our children because the things we're seeing in them really hit really close to home. So we thought it might be really useful for you to offer suggestions on how to manage moments when you feel triggered by your child during the lovely homeschooling day.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I can imagine that the triggers are ramped up when you're or trying to wear both hats and balance all of those roles. I think what happens when we're triggered, you know, part of what I love about Nurtured Heart approach is that we actually focus less on what happens when the wheels fall off the bus and more about helping that child know how to keep the wheels on their own bus, if you will.
Yeah.
So we spend a lot of time through the 3 stands to really intentionally stay away from getting into the pitfalls of trying to control our children, trying to change their behavior directly, the lecturing, the investment that we make so honestly because we want them to change what they're doing because we know it's not great behavior. Let's face it, when we're being triggered, it's normally because they're doing something not so great. And really purposefully changing that into focusing on what's going well. And so that is, you know, kind of easier said than done, but in the moment, when you are triggered, it's really trying to focus on where is my opportunity to help this child know where they're being successful. There will be something somewhere. There will be an opportunity that you will find by being present, by being in the moment with your child, instead of worrying about where this is all going to go or, you know, last time this happened, this was a really bad thing, which is often where we end up in our being. and instead really focused on what they are doing. And there will be a moment when that energy shifts for them. That is our moment. That's our time to really engage and get in relationship and really help them to find their own way out of their struggle, and then really celebrate that. Because when we celebrate that, that's what they learn is really valuable.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I can remember quite a few moments working with my own daughter where what triggered me was her boredom or her disengagement from the topic that I had spent so much time preparing to bring to her. And just taking that deep breath and checking in with what she was doing successfully and being able to say to her, you've opened your book, I can see that you're ready, and really checking in with her and where she was at and what she was doing successfully just deflated the whole thing so that we could start from a place of positivity. That was such a key tool for me.
Yeah.
For working with my own daughter.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to add to that I also found from training with you that, I thought I was doing those things with my daughter, but then what I added from the Nurtured Heart approach was identifying not just good job, but specifically what my daughter did that was so useful, because I could see that she realized how authentic that was. And it just woke up in her that feeling of pride or like satisfaction. And she wanted to manage herself better because I had really pointed something out that was real to her.
Yes. So I love that you remember that piece, because that really is so important in Nurtured Heart. When we talk about being positive, there's a lot of positive parenting stuff out there, and there's lots of, goodness in that. Excuse me, but so often that can fall so short of how much we are able to give when something's going wrong, right? When you think about how many words I can find, the energy that I can find, the way that I'll show up and get close and get so engaged when my child is doing something that I'm not wanting them to do anymore, I'll invest a lot of me.
Yeah.
But then if I just give a thank you or a good job when I'm done, my energy is not comparable to where I really want it to be, right? I really want to take that energy away from my lecturing when things are going wrong and put it into that really genuine appreciation for what's going right.
That's right.
And by doing that, I shift my own inner self as well, right? Let's face it, when it's exhausting, right? When it's yelling and, getting escalated, it's emotionally draining to do that.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
So shifting that and putting that energy into a more positive outlet can really get that child out of their moment of dysfunction or of dysregulation.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, maybe you can talk a little bit more about that, because one of the things, as a parent who's with your child all day working through the school, and then you still have an evening to get through, it can feel very exhausting at the end of a day when you've been triggered and you've worked with a Nurtured Heart approach or not, and you've just got to the end of the school day and it's just really exhausting. What can we bring out in the rest of the day to kind of let go of some of those pieces and bring positivity?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Parents we can be so loaded with so many thoughts and beliefs and words about our way that we handle things. We can be really critical of ourselves. We can find all ways to be guilty, feel bad about how we handled something, or embarrassed about what our children did because it's a reflection on us, and that's real, right? We all go through that at times, and I think the trick is, is that where I want my thoughts to go right now? So I find that same kind of hook into, let's find out what I did well today, right? Where was I successful? And pour your energy into that. What are the qualities that I brought to the table today? Where was I patient when I maybe otherwise wouldn't have been? Where was I, supportive of my child? Where was I, organized? Anything that you can find that you did well that day, there. Let go of the other stuff and just put all your energy into what you did well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's so important. Like we can be so critical on ourselves. And I always remember one of your examples in our training was that, we can have a beautiful blank piece of paper and suddenly there's one little mark, a tiny little mark on it. And our attention entirely goes to paper's ruined. There's this tiny mark. And yet the rest of the page is still perfectly clear and clean and beautiful. And we do that in our day so often. So it's like the Nurtured Heart approach is taking all of the mainstream talk we hear about focus your attention on the positive, give yourself like these daily meditations, like being in that moment all the time. And these are practical tools that are putting you back in that state all the time of self-love and care and compassion.
Yeah. And at the same time, really holding your child 100% accountable for their behavior, right? So it's really important that that we also just touch on that third piece of it, which is very much about that structure where we are so clear, setting our children up for success and making sure that they really be the truth they are. They are not their dysregulation. They are not their negative behaviors. They are little beings within, or even big. I use it with my teenager. I've been doing this for 16 years, and it still is something that I bring in. We all have emotions at some time. We all have that intense energy that comes up in us, and that doesn't have to be a problem if we can just that way through the truth of who we are to express that energy differently. Now we've found regulation. Now we have found our own self-regulation, and that's what gets us through all the challenges going forward. So, that's a really key piece of the nurture part as well.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. I appreciate it so much. And I feel like the ability for parents working through the Daily Wonder curriculum, like the ability for them to be able to do their own self-development and their own building up of their own personal awareness at the same time. It's like the perfect situation, really. Like you won't really find any more moments to be challenged up against, right? So
absolutely
to have these tools.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And another one of the beautiful parts about Nurtured Heart is that those opportunities to learn are much more available to us than sometimes we realize. Mm-hmm. So when we use the tools of the Nurtured Heart approach, we find endless opportunities to teach our children about their greatness, to teach them about how successful they are, to teach our children about who they really are on the inside, to build that, what we call inner wealth in the Nurtured Heart approach. And we also find those in ourselves. There are so many opportunities for us to do that inner work, and we can bring it to other relationships as well, with our partners, with our family. So it's really, it's very, very applicable through all relationships.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It truly is. We feel like the Daily Wonder approach is, yes, we know the world is filled with a lot of darkness and challenges and sadness, but the approach is to fill the young children up with the beauty and the greatness of humanity, because that's what they're going to carry forward as a foundation for, how they see the world and what's possible. And, we don't want to fill them up or have them jaded or, saddened by the state of the world when they're young children. They need to feel the greatness of what it means to be human.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Thank you so very much. We love talking to you, and I hope we can do this again sometime. There's so much to talk about, so we just scratched the surface, really.
Yes, I would love that. Whenever we can do, I always love hanging out with you guys, and would do it whenever you like. You know where to find me.
Sounds good.
Thank you so much, Marnie.
So
you can find out more information about Nurtured Heart Approach at Marnie's contact information, which you see on your screen, and you can contact admin at Daily Wonder for your coupon code as a member to receive a discount for Nurtured Heart Approach services.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
Bye. Thank you. See you
Bye.
later.